questioning whether or not they were even going to stick around, but they made the point that, you know what, especially because of that, if anything, they want to really continue to prove themselves that that was a fluke, and they truly are the best team in the world right now, even with that result there at the World Finals. So they're playing here in the Deadeye Bounty League, and excited to see how they perform today against Reason Gaming. With that said, I am joined by Saint Rocks as my co-caster today. Saint Rocks, how's it going?
Yeah. Hi. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to this series. It's gonna be the first time in a long time that we see Sync playing. Both I did catch some scrims of them the last 2 days, but first tournament game.
Yeah,
So yeah.
this is gonna be the first tournament game for pretty much everyone here since the World Finals here, and so you're talking about so you got to see them in some scrims here at least a little bit. How would you say they
Yeah.
look?
I mean, I'd say they look strong as ever. They did the scrim. They went against Penny's new team, the Disband clan.
Okay.
And they went 3-1. It's scrims, so it doesn't really matter. But they're looking in the last game. They had really amazing teamwork.
Yeah.
Like they just everything was just clicking for them.
Got you. Well, excited to see again how they fare off against Reason Gaming here. Now, Reason Gaming, a team that definitely very strong themselves. And now a couple of notes here. Booyakuya is actually Imbo Boy, so that's not necessarily anything new there. He's the leader, of course, of the team. Going to be their carry player. I'm not too sure who Matt H is. I believe he is a ringer
That's
for
Own
today.
Me.
Is
That's
it
Own
Own Me?
Me.
Okay, so it
Yeah,
is
that's Own Me.
actually part of their starting five. So this is their full five then, I believe. So.
Yeah, technically. Recent Gaming has always been like, yeah, well, basically any team that Price has had his fingers on or in or with has had like eight man rosters,
Okay.
and this is at least like five of them. So we
Okay.
got that rolling.
We do. All right, so that's definitely some good insight there. So that is Owen Mean again, a player that's been around the scene for a long time himself, and so again, I believe this is their five-man roster. But yeah, you are right. They tend to have several players and kind of switch in and out. But you can see Tank Fed, of course, part of the team as well. Interesting stuff there. But anyways, we got a draft to talk about, so let's start getting into that here. The initial bans, by the way, it was Puppet Master, Tremble, Warbeast, and Ophelia. It looks like we had picks of Behemoth and a Parasite. Clanks into Midas and Pebbles into Dr. Repulsor is what we're looking at so far. So what is your take on the draft so far, St. Rocks?
I'd say that Sync is going with something they know, like everyone remembers Slab's Parasite days. And then Midas and Dr. Repulsor, they just got your picks. I was thinking that it was kind of amazing that that Midas got out of the initial banning phase, because he is a really strong hero.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, we have Behe, Clanks, and Pebbles. I expect Behe to be played by Nier as like sort of the root role, if I can be so bold. He's going to be pulling and playing second support Behe. He's landing some amazing stuns here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, with the Pebbles, I'd say Recent Gaming is going for some magic damage burst early on, and then rely on Clanks to carry them into the late game with the Behe Polki initiation. Where Sync has a more all-around draft. Parasite is going to take off basically when he gets Wild Hunters and Skelly Kings.
Yeah.
With the new Lex Salionis build, he hits very hard and bursts a lot. Especially together with a Midas that will also benefit from the lowered magic armor. And Dr. Prisoner picked here.
Yeah. Prisoner coming out. It's not their everyday mid-hero by any means, but I guess going to be handsome Mickey. Does that mean Midas is going to be suicide, though?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
He's a perfectly fine suicide. He's going to be against the Glaciers and the Clanks, and that's going to be a lot of damage to deal with. But Prisoner, I don't see the synergy between like the rest of his lineup. I'm sure Insane has a plan for him, but whether it goes beyond the laning phase, just being a strong pick against like Pebbles dual lane perhaps, or if there's a fifth hero coming out that's going to tie everything together, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be fun to see how that ultimately plays out here. Now, you mentioned the Parasite Alexia Leonis, yeah, we've been seeing so much of that here lately on the competitive scene, and no doubt. I mean, it feels like it's the go-to build. Like, you really
Yeah,
should get it, even if you're not planning to go Codex. I mean, just inherently the burst damage that he has himself with Alexia
definitely.
Leonis and the face hug, it's powerful. So, I'm
Yeah,
sure we'll see
I
that
mean,
here.
I think the build is Lex Talionis, no matter if you're going Puzzle Box or Codex
Hmm.
at this point. It's just too strong.
Now, we talked about the Clanks as, oh wow, Scout coming out.
I've
That's
seen them do this in
interesting.
scrims, and I'm really happy that they're thinking about bringing back the Scout here.
Hmm.
Recent Gaming has beaten BMG a couple of times with the Scout. To be fair, BMG was running some pretty alternative strats, um, including like three people swapping roles for, but Scout, he is a really solid suicide in my opinion, especially against the Doctor Repulsor. Both like, I mean, at least until the Strong Head, Doctor is gonna have to be careful with what he flies into.
Interesting. So okay, so good against the dot. You say that because of the silence that he has?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's
It
the
is
only
physical,
that's
so
the only reason there.
yeah.
I mean, it like usually, I mean, when people hear the scout, they're like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be like an enemy scout that's gonna ulti something and run away." But wait, competitively, scout is played around his wards. That's the only reason the hero is good. I see Sane play him a lot, and Sane puts a lot of effort into blocking the opponent's jungle with the wards if he gets the possibility. And also ganking with the wards. Like an early silence can definitely like a hero like Bubbles that relies on being able to get away with a shell surf, he will get punished hard. Now Midas is fairly tanky, but he will rely on being able to get away with that. So question is, how much damage will Sane do early on before he becomes more of like Scout becomes more of a resource. He becomes an effect a resource what to say, you send him into the enemy jungle
Yeah.
to make sure that you have the resources
Okay.
on your side.
Yeah, you control them basically for
Exactly,
your benefit.
resource
Yeah.
control.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's obviously Scout does have history at the competitive scene as far as being the suicide option. Now he did receive some of those nerfs that ultimately, kind of just died off from there. Especially when the heavy jungle meta became less of a thing too. I mean, obviously blocking the camps,
Yeah,
yeah, with those wards of his, or more so the eyes, I guess, it was a very powerful strategy, but became
it's
less
still really
prevalent.
good
But
against Parasite, who relies heavily on hard camps.
yeah,
Scout can definitely make sure that Slab is not going to have a great time.
yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
So gonna be fun to see how Zane
Trick is
does.
to get him farmed later on. I mean, as much as the hero is a bother for the enemy team early on, he does need to farm before. Like he needs his basher and shrunken head for the early on fights, or he's just going to be snacked by Doctor or Parasite.
Hmm. See another pause coming out right here, so gonna
That's
have
good.
to. Okay, just trying to get the lag figured out. So again, this is the first match here of the Deadeye Bounty League for both of these teams. Obviously, there's only been one match that has been played. Again, quickly pulling up the groups right here. Nullstone did defeat Fresh 3-0 in their
Oh,
best out of 5. That was definitely an interesting result there on Tuesday. And I'm sure surprised a bit of people. Not necessarily Nullstone winning, but especially, again, 3-0 and fairly dominant overall in the way that they did it. So, fun start here to this tournament. And again, overall, every team's going to play each other once here in a best of 5 series, and then the top 2 move on to what is then a double elimination bracket stage. And this right here, this graphic kind of breaks down as well as far as, again, how all the $20,000 ultimately in the prize pool here, how it breaks down between the groups and then, of course, the bracket. So basically, again, every single game, every series, I mean, there's money on the line. So that's pretty cool knowing that, and really kind of gives that incentive to really try from game to game right here. So, again, this is really only our second series that we've had now. Let's mess with the graphics here. There we go, coming back to it. So, again, these matches taking place every Tuesday and Thursday. And then this weekend, guys, the DreamHack qualifiers will officially begin as the top 8 teams are going to be going at it. Of course, all the 8 teams currently in the Deadeye Bounty League are actually in that bracket as well for the DreamHack qualifiers. And winner of that tournament will be going to DreamHack Summer 2015, and ultimately it's going to be 5 teams in total. So Looks like coming out of the pause here, so hoping that no remake necessary
Yeah,
in the end. But
Zania is saying that he might need a remake here.
yeah,
Let's hope that they won't. Parasite has picked up boots. I'm pretty sure Slab is going enemy jungle. That's usually like that's offensive Parasite build. You get boots, 2 mana pots, and you just run into that jungle.
hmm
I think he is very much expecting them to block his camps, which they already did with a double block. Okay, so they really want Slab to have mediocre farm in the jungle, but he's already mind gaming them. He's ready to rotate into enemy jungle.
yeah,
I like that. That's a heads up play from Slab.
absolutely. Yeah, going to be already picking up
Anyway.
on that. I mean, again, going up against a scout, you figure that's going to happen, right? I mean, we're talking about
exactly.
one of his potentials here, as far as
Yeah.
being in that suicide
And,
zone.
and it's not like Parasite is really needed in his own jungle. Like it's a scout top lane against Doctor. Doctor should be doing just fine, and mid lane he will still be able to gank there. The only downside is he is against Iglesias, and Iglesias is amazing against Parasite,
hmm
and he's already getting slap. That's why I was just about to say that he was sitting in the jungle in the trees near the tower for a long time. He should have spent that time walking in the jungle and get ready for a hard camp. Now he's scouted, and he's not going to have that great of a time.
hmm Yeah.
Mid lane.
Oh, middle lane. Yeah, 2 versus 2 mid lane. Not often we see this nowadays. Prisoner and Empath versus a Glacius and Pebbles is what it ends up being here. By the way, Glacius, Tankafet playing Glacius. He's playing their main support here. He has not played Glacius apparently on record, so that's worth noting. And Sync also happens to be their best hero as far as their record goes, as far as the most successful against Glacius. So, but yeah, 2 versus 2 mid. What do you think about it?
I think it's a weird lane. Prisoner Empath. I'm not like Empath has sort of a setup stun in the Essence link, but not really that great, and she doesn't deal that much damage. And together with Prisoner, who doesn't deal that much damage either, I'm not sure if I'm not sure how well they're gonna do here. If Glacius and Pebbles gets like just one kill and they get ahead, they won't. Oh, they missed the wall there. I mean, they deal damage, but I think they're gonna have a really hard time finishing anyone but Glacius off.
Yeah. You see right there, Pebbles able to survive through. Now, again, Pebbles does have that very low armor that he's known for earlier on in the game especially, so they're going to go on to Empath right here. No freeze, though. Freeze does come out. Look at the damage. However, the wall up from Empath. And it will be enough to get away there in the end, so.
Anything. Anyway, Midas is having a really good time. Oh, well, a really good time. He's getting free XP down here because B is not putting effort into trying to box him out, which makes sense. Like, B is not a great boxer. Especially not against Midas. So Kizo's having a lot better time than you usually would as a suicide. He's getting outlasted pretty heavily by Imba Boy. Imba Man. Yakia. And so I expect him to have a lot of XP, and then he's probably gonna start roaming.
Yeah. He'll always be Imba Boy in my heart. I don't care what his name is now. So. Just for the.
I mean, he is. I mean, maybe he just didn't like the sound of Imba Man, so he went with like something Asian.
Booyah Kuya. I mean, that is pretty cool to say, to be fair, but.
It's like an anime character.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, look at that too. Casey's first game playing Midas here happens to be. Again, Midas has been getting a lot of attention lately. So now I will say, and I'm curious what you think about it. I mean, Midas as a suicide hero, it doesn't seem like people really like running her as suicide the most. Do you kind of agree with that, or?
Yeah, I see a tendency to bring him mid, because that's where he will like Midas can still get boxed out. And in mid lane, he is kind of like he's secured at least a little bit of farm. Double stun from Pebbles mid lane.
That is
pretty intense, and that's going to be.
Now the auto attack.
Link.
Oh, this is like not going to be enough. Tankafet gets credit for the kill. However, Mike coming to cost right here. He's putting in some damage, knowing that he's going to fall. Maybe set up a kill on a prisoner, and it will set up a kill on a prisoner. A 2-for-1 exchange, including the Bloodlust kill, in favor of Reason Gaming right here. So safe to say they're feeling pretty good after that one. Pebbles 1-0-1 start here.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, now Pebbles is ahead. They're ahead in the mid lane. I don't see Prisoner and Empath ever making a comeback. Like, even with a really good hook, they don't have the damage to force to kill, like, 900 HP Pebbles. And he will always make sure that Glacius, like, at least get some help. Like, he has a pretty damn good stun. And I was questioning the fact that that Tang Effect stayed around for so long. I was pretty sure that he could just have ran, but it ended up being an awesome trade for him.
Yeah.
And
oh, Empath gets away barely. Pebbles now, he's in trouble. 4 players here for the Hellborn team, and the numbers are going to prove to be beneficial. They take out Pebbles, despite it being a little bit somewhat tankier early on in the game, and now Glacius is also going to be picked off in the end. So Sync Esports definitely comes on top there, and man, Empath so close to death, but Scout was just getting slowed enough and was unable to chase him down in the end. So good find right there from Sync Esports, of course, and now they take the 3-2 hero kill lead. So it seemed to be Pebbles, obviously, after a good start. All of a sudden, now he gets taken out here, so not so much.
Well, that was definitely a needed gang from Doctor and Parasite, putting a lot of effort into bringing back the mid lane.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that's definitely also needed. I don't think they're going to be able to come back alone. Mickey missing Hook and Glaciers there. Oh, they're already going. Omi is very aggressive with his initiations
Yeah.
through the wall, though.
Jeez,
The
that
wall?
Essence Link is healing up so much right here, and they still need one more auto attack. I think they're going to
No
get
boots,
it.
so
Yeah, it's going to be enough. Yeah, Pebbles, in fact,
Kill
almost about to
secure.
get it, but Glacius
Kill
just
secure.
making sure. Exactly. Kill secured right there. Not so much kill steal. So, yeah, Prisoner missing that hook just prior, definitely allowing an opening there for Recent Gaming to take and Own Me playing the Pebbles there, as you mentioned. So,
Yep.
But look at the GPM's charts right now. I mean, right now it's Doctor,
Yeah.
Pulsar, and Prisoner really up there, with Doctor especially, man. He's Flensmeister, I haven't really mentioned about him, but he's level 6 and 380 gold per minute about. Here at
Yep,
the top
he's
lane.
had a really good time against Scout, as I was mentioning, and also he got the free kill on, was it I think it was Pebbles.
Yeah.
Ran right into him, and he also got an assist on top of that. So I'm really surprised that Prisoner has this good farm. He is way ahead in creep kills compared to Pebbles, and I guess Mickey has just been doing a lot more efficient job of farming in the mid lane.
Beam. It's going to be
You-
found right here by Midas and Empath, and he's eventually going to fall. Glacius, he's trying to make something set up in return, but again, needs to get out of there at the same time. The hook is going to connect on the Pebbles right there from Mickey.
Oh.
He lands a combo, kinda, not really, and ultimately it's going to be too much damage to deal with. He eventually will fall. You see Glacius again doing what he can, maybe going to try to pick up a kill, but no, that's not going to happen either. And you can tell Sync Esports has definitely found their groove now. And they're getting things going here. Pebbles now back-to-back deaths. So what was a 1-0-1 start for him, looking pretty damn good. All of a sudden now he's 1-2-2. And things not nearly as good.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, Sync is addressing this mid lane really, really well. Like they're just bringing the numbers, and they're getting the team fights, or what should I say, half team fights. And yeah, they're getting back into it. Vicky has amazing farm. Same with Flens, who's not been that active. Like, this is not like in Thailand where the doctor would like port in level 6 and just go for something. Flens is being a little bit more passive farmer, but still, it's working.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this kind of goes back to, Imboboy, he loves playing this Clanks. We've known that now for a little bit here of Recent Gaming. He's been playing it pretty frequently. But again, they second picked this Clanks here in this game. And, right now he's about 315 gold per minute. You mentioned he's against Midas here in the Suicide Lane, but I don't know. I feel like that's even a little bit low, considering he's basically been free farming down here at this bottom lane. Now, it is Imboboy, and again, when it comes to getting that GPM, he's arguably one of the best out there on the scene. But I don't know if you feel the same, but it just seems like it's a little bit lower than it should be.
Oh yeah, he should have had like 350. But I mean, he was challenged by, like, it was a 1v1 down there. He didn't really do a whole lot for him.
True.
So Midas was able to like make it hard for him to last it at least. So it wasn't complete free farm. But yeah, I would have liked to see the GPM a little bit higher. Also, something to note is Slap's Parasite presence here is making sure that Sync is ahead with like 1k XP already. That's quite a bit this early in the game.
Yeah, 1,600 gold at about 1,000 experience. So you see Imboboy trying to push in this bottom tower. There is going to be a defense put up, including Dr. Pulsar actually down here. And Midas
Mid lane.
actually put in the middle lane because there's a fight going on. Prison Break comes out. It pulls back in Glacius, actually. Here comes Midas. He lands a transmute on a Pebbles. He missed Glacius, though. Could have been 2 kills, but at least they get the one in the Pebbles, the important hero. Scout marksman shot. It's not enough. Prisoner will survive, and the Fissure's done. Was also out of range right there. That's got to feel pretty crappy there if you're Reason Gaming. That for sure they had a kill on a Prisoner at least, but coming up just short right there, unfortunately.
They're trying to set up a kill on Klang's bot lane. Doctor put it in, and Slap was moving over, but Imberboy sniffed it out and just went away.
Yeah. You see, he does have a Thunderclaw now. Now, as you say that, Parasite is nearby with the Wild Hunter by himself. Though at this point, he's just going to more so try to steal creeps, not necessarily go for a kill here. No Lex or anything like that. You see Pebbles, but it's like with the Magic community, what is Pebbles going to do? So, not much he can.
He's just being an annoyance.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I guess this is where, like, usually when you have a bee on your team, you rotate your hard carry into the jungle. As soon as you get there, take it away.
Yeah, bottom lane. They're going to jump on to Behemoth right here. Big dive coming out. It will set up a kill. Having another freeze on a Doctor, but with no more team support, so we finally have a TP coming in. Well, that was really late, man. If that came in a couple seconds sooner, maybe they could try for something, but Scout comes in there way too late, and Doctor just kind of walks away. Doesn't need to do much else for that situation, so... Yeah,
I mean, Recent Gaming is not playing as well, and like, it's all about setting up ganks, and Recent Gaming is responding really, really slowly, or not responding at all. They're letting Sync take the driver's seat here, and that's a good way to lose.
Yeah. 10.5 minutes in. Big hook once again from Mickey. Shackles applied, and Pebbles, he is going to fall shortly after again. Not the most armor early on in the game, and that kind of showing right there, so he gets picked off, and it's Sync Esports now. Well, you mentioned 1,500 gold lead was a pretty big at this point. They're not looking at a 3,800 gold lead. It's going to be more now as Behemoth also is found, making a 4,200 gold lead and a 3,700 experience lead. They're going to group up most likely and push this middle lane on top of that. It's actually Parasite. He finds Glacius over here. He takes over the Vulture Lord. Midas is coming in. A Transmute ready to go. Comes in with the Elemental Warp. And the follow-up for the Transmute. So Glacius picked off. And Scout cannot do much else. He's forced to kind of run away right there, even though he gets dusted. They are unable to chase up to him. But Reason Gaming, I mean, again, Imberboy, at least he's kind of farming, pushing the bottom lane. But other than him, there's nothing really going for them right now.
This is just Clanks and Scout being two passive heroes against a lot of aggressiveness coming from Sync.
Yeah.
Like, there is none of the heroes on Sync's side that are bad at this point. But Clanks and Scout still, he's getting caught.
Yeah, he's going to be picked off here. So much for him being the only one doing good here for Reason.
Yeah.
Ends up being a death.
I mean, it doesn't really matter if he's the only one doing well. Like, it's not a Ravener. He's going to get locked down and killed before he will be able to get the damage off.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at, like, if Sync keeps this up, Prisoner's going to have Shrunken Head, Bulky. He's going to jump Clanks every fight. And it doesn't matter how much farm Clanks will have at that point. He will still go down. They need to turn this around with some initiation. Like, try to go for some kills themselves, smoke up perhaps, and try to get some kills.
Yeah.
They're not doing that at all.
Well, again, it's just it's kind of falling apart. And this is a recent team that got the Bloodlust. They had a 2-for-1 exchange early on in the game. Again, Pebbles was off to a very good start in that sense, but just not able to take off like they were hoping for. And for Sync Esports, as they usually tend to do. Again, more the aggressive lineup. And once again, showing right here, you got Prisoner double damage room middle lane. He's looking to maybe push it in, but he has 1,300 gold saved up, so Portakey well in the works. Flensmeister doing his typical Icon of the Goddess build, most likely. He does have a Grave Locket as well as a Ring of Sorcery, but that's going to be coming along. And no Lex build on Zlapt here, a little interesting, but he has a Ghost Marchers as well as a Blood Chalice. We'll see if he eventually gets it or not. But big hook again. Clanks gets pulled in, and a couple of auto attacks later, he eventually will fall. And now Doctor and Parasite join. Glacius is going to be picked off on top of that. So I know we're only 13 minutes into this game here, St. Rocks, but I would not be surprised to see a sooner than later concede here, honestly.
Yeah, this is not looking good. I mean, I really thought Recent Gaming had a nice matchup in the mid lane, but then Slap was like, hey, Saint, fuck out of me.
Yeah.
And it just ended up being like basically 4 players versus the 2 guys in mid, and BE not being able to do a whole lot. And Recent Gaming has a good team, in like 30 minutes. But I mean, in 30 minutes, Sing is gonna be gods with
Yeah.
like 5 slots on every hero. So yeah, it just their team peaked. The recent gaming's team is too greedy to deal with this aggression that Sing is putting out, and that's just heads up calls from Insania. Oh, you timed out?
Yeah, my Honda's crashed. I was just weird. It just like
Oh,
froze and then crashed all of a sudden. So I'm actually going to be reconnecting right here.
you're not
Joining back
missing
in.
anything.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Seemed like they were just
Yeah.
running around at that point. So coming back in, guys. Do apologize, but
Oh, a big hook on
uh,
Clanks.
liar.
No, it's true. He's going down here. Imboboy got killed. Um,
All right. Well,
Mickey, Kizu, and Insania got they roamed Legion jungle, and Clanks was farming there, and Mickey landed a huge hook on him.
yeah.
I mean, Mickey has just been landing amazing hooks as well.
Hmm.
Like I was like, you know, Prisoner is gonna land some good hooks, but you know, it's gonna be like something you can deal with. But then Mickey is like, I haven't seen him like, I've seen him miss one hook, and the rest of them it has just been big hooks he's been landing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So.
hard to deal with.
Yeah, you weren't lying. He is still dead right here in 5 seconds before he's going to be resurrected. So,
I'm sorry, man.
yeah, no, again, not a big deal. It's just it's been an onslaught here in favor of Sync Esports, and that's just more continuation of it. And again, that goes back to also, like I said, Clanks is a little bit greedier of a hero when it comes to being the carry option. He's not necessarily going to be too involved early on in the game, and another hook at the top lane. Again, Scott going to be picked up. Look at that. Chucks in Behemoth, hoping to maybe set something up.
Oh
And they're
my God,
going for it. Clanks is going to follow it up, but the Hellborn team Sync responding too damn well right here. And now they're going to be coming in. Transmit attempt, not going to go off. Yes, it will on the Glacius. They finish him off. As down the front line, Scotty's going for the marksman shot. They will take a prisoner, but at what cost here? Scott about half-life. Parasite takes him out. Empath left alone, though. She's in an awkward spot, and Midas running over, however. Pebbles misses the stun. They will kill Empath, though, but now they're going to be chasing down Pebbles right here, and Pebbles very likely. No, he chucks him away. He will go down. The prisoner comes back in, by the way. Doctor just out of range of the fissure stun, and Sync Esports is going to absolutely clean up right here, it looks like, when it's all said and done. A double tap for Mickey. And again, I was going to say, I got to believe that should do it right there. And sure enough, it does. Sync Esports will take game number 1 here in what is a best out of 5. So, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but Sync, it doesn't even seem like they missed a beat here coming out for the World Finals, man.
Yeah, they looked strong yesterday as well. And wow, Flens, he juked so many spells that fight, the last fight. Like, the Fisher Stunner would have killed him. He juked that as well with his ulti. He juked the Pebble Stun from Omi. It's just, oh my God, he just made them waste so many resources on not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, his team was just, demolishing.
Yeah, they were pretty much wrecking there that whole fight and, well, the whole game, frankly. So, Sync Esports, it's a definitely challenge cut out here for Reason. I mean, you look at that game. Was that really a mix maybe of both the fact that just outplayed but also outdrafted, or did you actually like Reason's draft, or what?
Well, that's a question you should ask me before the game, because now
That's true.
I almost have to say that